What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Outriders. Now, today's quest is to briefly review some of the recent communication from the developers of Outriders about a soon-to-come update or patch we can expect. As always, if you'd like more content on Outriders regarding endgame builds, helpful tips, and more, just tap that subscribe and like button. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so this video is going to be pretty brief as we are just going to cover everything posted to the Square Enix Reddit page for Outriders regarding the upcoming update. So of course, what would be an update without addressing the recent and biggest elephant in the room, and that's going to be the inventory restoration that has been in the works by People Can Fly for a couple of weeks already. As some of you may know, players pointed out the loss of some important loot on their characters, while some even reported their entire inventory and stash being wiped by an annoying bug. To make matters worse, when the last patch was applied, the issue seemed to get worse and reached more players. Now, the developers have communicated their awareness of this issue since it was reported and has been working tirelessly to not only fix the bug, but restore those lost items for many players. As an update, they noted items will have the same attribute combinations, but with quote-unquote god roll values. This means that these items will be at least the same, if not better quality than the originally lost ones. Now, they have grouped players into groups A through C based on this issue and are addressing them this way based on the extent of how players were affected. As far as patches go, People Can Fly have noted they have a larger patch that is currently in testing but will go out in the near future. Now, even though they don't give out every single detail, here is what they are willing to share. First are a number of issues, bugs, crashes, and more with the game or multiplayer. This involves popular ones like players being stuck at the sign-in screen and some lightning issues players have reported as well. As we know, the game has almost been out for a month and players still are having issues signing in, accessing servers, or joining others in multiplayer, so hopefully of course these get fixed soon. The patch will also address a number of community issues, which are issues being reported by players such as the difficulty of dealing with the damn sniper enemies who seem to almost one-shot anything that is not a Devastator class. Other issues on this list include but are not limited to dealing with excessive knockback from creatures on the Stargrave expedition, 300 megabyte crash dumps left behind on PC, and other issues as reported. Now, of these, I am curious to know which issues you guys would like to see resolved by putting those in the comments below. Me personally, as I started to farm CT15, I don't see the need to limit our stashes to 100 items, which of course could be a simple fix. Now, although it's not mentioned on this list, included in this update according to Outriders community managers, Golem will also be on the list of things to nerf in the upcoming patch. Not specifically the Devastator skill, but the use of Golem from the mod Emergency Stance, which gives you the protective Golem when your health drops below 30%. Now, of course, as many are aware, there is a current bug and exploit to make this permanent in-game, which surely needs fixed, but supposedly the developers aim to nerf the effectiveness of it as well, which honestly, in my opinion, is unnecessary. Again, this is just another nerf to something players have found extremely helpful in their builds for dealing with outrageous scaling of expedition difficulty. Moving on to multiplayer, and as mentioned before, People Can Fly are working to address a number of issues, bugs, and crashes associated with multiplayer, and have acknowledged the lack of multiplayer amongst the community as a result. As some are aware, there is a big griefing issue going on with players where once the expedition is complete, right before opening the container, they are kicked out of the game and thus don't receive their loot. Another issue many players have brought up is the scaling of multiplayer expeditions when players are trying to help friends to getting higher tiers, which can be problematic as they too are finding themselves struggling to beat the expedition because of the increase in difficulty in multiplayer. At the moment, there is not much detail on multiplayer adjustments or updates from the notes publicly available, so again, this is just one of those things we're going to wait and see what comes out. Last but not least are the developers' intentions behind balancing expeditions, downscaling, and other key areas of discussion in the community. Without much detail, they simply noted, and I quote, "We are aware that these are topics that are currently attracting a lot of discussion throughout the community. They are, of course, also topics that we discuss internally. However, because they are fundamental aspects of the game, feedback and considerations for change must be considered over a longer period of time. This is to say that while we haven't yet talked about these topics, we do intend to do so in the future." So with that being said, all I really took from that note is that they are listening, and the more popular opinions from the community are or will eventually be thrown on the table for discussion internally by them. So although this doesn't say much, they are at least acknowledging the fact that they are listening and will hopefully discuss the important topics amongst their team. Alright, so there we have it, some of the recent notes from the developers of Outriders about the upcoming patch that is expected to go out soon. As always, once available, I'll cover all of the details that are important for us players in another video, and if you're looking for some endgame builds, tips, and more, be sure to tap that subscribe and like button so I can provide those to you when available. Now, my name is Silverback, our quest is complete, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.